of our vengeance is near.
It seems these hour hands were not expecting us to come in by the hidden door. This is amusing, but I tire of dealing with lesser dour hands. So, let's go. Well, it looks like we got a few more lesser dour hands to take care of first. Alright. This is going to take some time. Alright, let's take care of the small ones. Alright, wasting that on the lesser ones probably wasn't the best idea I had. Probably should have maybe used the epic conclusion to so been a real conclusion. No, 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 no! Ah! Oh, well, that was quite... not the optimal way of doing it. Oh, there are two big ones here. Oh, quit that. Things with lots of stuns, I don't think is good for solo content. This, as I said, wasn't designed as solo content. But it's one of those where I felt that it probably works better if you can do it in a group, but how often are you going to find a group that's actually doing this particular instance? If you're working together, I think it'll be really nice. You know, if you have a group that's leveling together. It's another one of those that I think that otherwise is a bit... not very well translated. Now, of course, if you're leveling in a group of 6 people who are leveling together, then of course I'm sure you would love instances like this, so you don't have these solo things all over the place. It can actually cooperate together. Oh, he's a simple one. Let me take him out. We don't have to worry about him later. There you go. Done. 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 Oh, one more. Looks like literally only one more. Alright. It's time we finish this. The Nazgul and Skorgrim have nowhere else to hide. Here, let's go
I
then.
think I have had quite enough.
Skorgrim has nowhere else to hide. I think he now realizes it. Let's see what happens. Yes. Our objective is to defeat Skorgrim, which means he'll probably run away afterwards. Skorgrim, deal with these interlopers, and then bring them. And bring your men to Heligrad. Alright, well, okay, that was the worst Nazgul voice ever. Oh, first I gotta worry about these stupid spirits. Ah. Annoying, 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 annoying. Alright. Dour hands, I guess I expected. Ooh, thunder and flame. I'm gonna have to take a count of these things soon. Alright, and maybe I should have also... Oh, of course, Skorgrim is... I don't think I have any hope tokens. I really should get a few hope tokens, right? Right? Don't have any hope tokens. This is an awful time to be looking for hope tokens. Like, in the middle of battle, when I really should be paying attention to the actual battle. Alright, can't find the hope token. You know, there might be a bunch of hope tokens I bought some time ago that I completely missed because I was in the middle of battle and couldn't see them, but... Oh, shut up. Thank you. Alright, now. Now that was an epic conclusion. Alright, now finally we get to fight Skorgrim. After all this time, we've been wanting to do him in since forever. Well, at least since the earliest parts of this. Oh, that's what Gimli's doing. He's throwing axes at our friend here. I should have known that's not going to avail me much. Yeah, Skorgrim's a tough one. Okay, now I'm at full morale. Alright, let's see. Oh, he's on level 42. Oh yeah, he's probably stun immune at the time. I think he's almost down. This vessel has served our purposes well, but now it's time to go. Yes, I am close now. Very close to my objective. Now its time has passed. Okay, so close to his objective. That is not good sounding for us, is it?
Well met, friend.
You fought well, Pinestone, and we have put an end to Skorgrim's menace. I am troubled by the escape of the Nazgul and the apparition that appeared upon Skorgrim's death, but there is nothing we can do about that now. At least we have paid the Dour Hands for their treachery. Ha ha! Oh, maybe that wasn't the best laugh for Gimli.
Let us away.
Then let's travel back. And we are to talk to Gloin again. Isn't that wonderful? I'm sure that's what you all wanted. Another conversation with Gloin. And where are we? Oh, there we are. Yeah. Notice I mounted my horse after we got past the majority of that, because I don't want to go too fast over that particular bridge outside. Stray, so to speak, and we're on a horse. Straying a little bit is more likely to send you into the water. But we will reconvene in Gloin's camp, where we will finish this particular chapter. Gloin!
No dawdling.
You bring tidings both joyous and dark, Pinestone. The dour hands are done. They will never hope to threaten the Longbeards again. While the news of the spirit that was driven from Skorgrim is unsettling, it is not as disturbing as the news of the rider's escape. What is worse, you tell me that he spoke of bringing men to Heligrad. What he seeks is the old dwarf half is a mystery to me. Unfortunately, there is more that must be done if Rivendell is to be secured. Know, though, that I will give you whatever help I can. Alright, and including, it looks like a 124 armor, 27 might, 13 fate. Okay. 13 what? Yeah. Alright, well, 13 will. Actually, that's not too bad for a...
Welcome. You have come at a most fortuitous time.
That one actually I'll take. Alright. If you have a moment, allow me to tell you some of the tale of Heligrad, the ruins that of which are north of here. The tale may shed light on the writer from seeks to accomplish, though I cannot guess what it might be. Heligrad was delved beneath the mountain of Oradlostal. It remained the northernmost outpost of the Khazad-dûm for long years. Mithril was never found there, but a good many other stones and riches were. Those riches drew a dragon to Heligrad, Thorog. He was named. He slew all the dwarves and made his bed in Heligrad's treasury. In Khazad-dûm, where the elves call Moria, Durin marshaled a company of dwarves to journey to Heligrad and slay the beast. Thorog was defeated, but Durin was slain by the dragon's dying breath. He was the fifth of that name. The next two came to a sad end. In fact, Durin's Bane, which we'll see in a much, much later episode, is the one responsible for number 6. But I will not speak of that now. Dwarves sought to reclaim Heligrad in the years that followed, but death hung heavily over that place, and they abandoned. The halls then removed Heligrad's riches to Khazad-dûm. I do not know what the writer might seek to gain by taking Heligrad. Perhaps he simply wants to fortify it. But I will wager there is more to this deed than we can see. Perhaps by scouting the borders of Heligrad we can learn more of this lands. Do not attempt to enter Heligrad itself. Too many dark things linger there. But instead seek the outer treasury. Search near Nangorong. Alright, so we need to scout the borders of Heligrad. Now, Heligrad itself is an instanced area. Level 50. So, I'm not high enough to go into that area. It's designed for 12, has 3 wings that are designed for 12, and it has a 4th wing which is for 24. And the 4th wing ties into the story we're doing right now, because the epic, the early parts of the epic tended to introduce you to some instances that you would be doing later. The first one, the book 1, tied into the Great Barrow because it ended at a small mission in the Great Barrow, and then eventually the idea was that you would do further things by going into the Great Barrow after that time. So it was an introduction to the Great Barrow. The book 2 was an introduction to GA, which is another area, which is an instance area in the Lonelands, and that area isn't particularly popular simply because it's not scaled at the moment. The Great Barrow right now is scalable, so people now do it regardless of their level. And I'll be happy when Update 18 comes out and Scribe a New Ending is no longer hosed by disarm skills. I'll be most happy when that's the case. So book 3, of course, is obviously Fornost is what that leads into, which is now another area that's now scalable. So that was done later than the Great Barrow was. So if they ever do get around to rescaling thing, I think GA is going to would be a natural place to do since it's in the path. Though right now, as far as I know, Turbine does not have any immediate plans to scale that area. That particular instance has been revamped on a couple of occasions, so I don't think it'll be that difficult to rescale, but every time you say something's not okay, it won't be as difficult as some of the other instances would be because it's already been divided. But of course you still have the thing about getting the balance right in a scaling instance, because now it's got to be able to be balanced over a much wider number of levels than a non-scaling instance is. Now, book 4 does not lead into anything that I know of. Well, it leads into book 5, so I think of it as a double lead-in. In other words, you have in that you have 2 books that together lead in, and of course they lead into Helagrod. Book 6. Book 6 leads you into the second half of Angmar. You need it to unlock the eastern part of Angmar. Book 7 then is what unlocks Carndum. And in fact, in that case, unlock is a little bit more literal than in most other cases, because you literally have to unlock it. It's no longer the case. Now you could just go there. Or at least I think you can. I don't know how much difference the key makes now. I think there are probably some gates, though, that still might need someone in there. Alright, now I discovered the treasury, and of course we find a couple of undead. Well, I mean, what did you expect to find in an old place like this? After that, let's see the rest of the books. I'm trying to think how many of them actually lead into something directly. Well, you do have later on where I presume the epic that's in Evendem is designed to introduce Anuminas. And of course, Eregion introduces you to the school and the library. They take you in there briefly so they could introduce it to you. Alright, those are the ones I could think of that are introduced by parts of the epic. You do have the same thing being done in Moria a little bit. Where, like, for example, the Hall of Mirrors, they introduce you into that during the epic, where you had to actually play through the Hall of Mirrors in order to do it. Now, what they've done now is created a solo version of the Hall of Mirrors that you can go in if you don't have a group. So I'm glad they did that instead of Inspiration, so that you could still do the original if you want, or you can do one that's, well, where you're not overpowered into it. Though, frankly, the Hall of Mirrors can get annoying sometimes. Or do they have Inspiration? Actually, I can't even remember what all they do for that. But they do have a solo version of it. And of course, Mirkwood, the epilogue, was to tie into all the instances in Mirkwood. Now in Volume 3, they went away from that scheme because that's when they're starting to come up with trying to solo it and stuff like this. And the idea of leading into all the group instances was less attractive as part of the story. The consequence of that, of course, is because of weakening the tie with the epic and instances, there are fewer of these major instances in the recent updates. I think that covers that, and now I'm back to glowing. Whites! Surely this is the doing of the writer, and that sigil you found on one of them? I can tell that it is an artifact of evil, but its true measure is beyond me. Perhaps it is time to ask for help from Master Elrond. Of course, it always goes back to Elrond. So, we'll go back to Elrond and see what he says about this artifact. I wonder if anyone's ever kept score on how many times you have to speak to Elrond in Volume 1.
Dark days are coming.
So you have returned with evil tidings. This is the mark of a Gaunt Lord. Perhaps you have seen one before? Sometimes Gaunt Lords use these sigils to summon the fell spirits that animate the white. The sigil that you have brought is a mark of Drugoth the Black, a powerful Gaunt Lord. As for what drew the Nazgul and this Gaunt Lord to Helegrod, I fear I now know what they seek.
Hope is not in vain.
What the Nazgul seeks has become apparent to me, Pinestone. Glowing told you of the fall of Helegrod, I expect. Durin the fifth of such dwarf to bear the name slew the dragon Thorog, but perished during the battle alongside most of his company. When it became clear that Helegrod was a place of evil, and their attempts to restore it futile, the dwarves removed the riches from the treasury and left the dragon's body to molder. However, I fear the cold and ice of Orad Lostal may have preserved the body of the dragon far longer than any would have thought. Even after the death and passage of so many years, the body of Thorog would possess much power. I fear that Drogoth the Gaunt Lord might use this art to place some spirit within that corpse, raising the most terrible of wights in the service of Angmar. A dragon wight within the reach of Imladris is too grave a threat to be ignored. I ask that you go into the treasury of Helegrod and put an end to these plans. And of course, this is a fellowship quest that will have inspiration. And that is what we'll be doing next time. Book 5, Chapter 8, Fire and Ice. And we'll start this off, of course, at our usual place, Glowing's Cap. The next episode of Pineleaf Plays, The Rune-Keeper.